Thanks for watching Community Update for Friday, October 9th. I'm Steve Erickson. Anyone who wants a COVID test can get a COVID test next week in Anoka. The Anoka Armory is one of 6 locations across the state offering the free no-barrier testing in partnership with the state and local health officials. The testing will take place Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday from noon to 7 p.m. To avoid long waits, people are encouraged to pre-register for a time slot. No insurance or identification is needed. Again, anyone who wants a test can get one. You do not need to have any symptoms. Testing will be done with a nasal swab. You can find a link to the registration page by logging onto Anoka County's website. The coronavirus has left many nonprofits struggling for donations, but the city hopes a new program will provide some much-needed relief. On Wednesday night, the City Council approved guidelines for the Coon Rapids Nonprofit Relief Grant Program. Using funding from the Federal CARES Act, nonprofits will be eligible for grants of up to $15,000. They must have a physical establishment in Coon Rapids and be a 501c3 nonprofit or 501c9 veterans organization. Also, nonprofits must be able to demonstrate financial hardship or program changes as a result of the pandemic. Applications will be accepted through October 19th. More information can be found on the city's website, coonrapidsmn.gov. A Coon Rapids restaurant met the wrecking ball this week. The Famous Dave's restaurant in Riverdale was demolished to make way for a new multi-tenant building and bank at the corner of Main Street and Northdale Boulevard. Plans for the project were approved back in January before the pandemic hit. At the time, there was talk Famous Dave's would be part of the new building, but it remains unclear if that will happen as the restaurant industry struggles with reduced capacity due to the virus. A sign on Famous Dave's thanked customers and said they, quote, hope to be back in the market soon. Meanwhile, that project was contingent on a new traffic signal being installed near the entrance off Northdale Boulevard. On Wednesday night, the City Council awarded the contract for the project. In addition to the signal, pedestrian and median improvements will be made, and just to the north, an island barrier will be installed to prevent cars leaving Costco from turning north, which is prohibited. The new traffic signal on Northdale Boulevard is expected to be operational in the spring of 2021. Plans are moving forward for the construction of an overpass at the railroad crossing on Foley Boulevard. This week, the City Council entered into a joint powers agreement with Anoka County for the $23 million project, about $2 million of which the city is responsible for. Plans for Foley Boulevard call for a 4-lane divided roadway between Coon Rapids Boulevard and East River Road with a grade separation at the BNSF railroad tracks. Construction is expected to start early next year and take about 2 years to complete. Unlike the Hanson Overpass project, Foley will remain open to traffic, but some short-term closures are expected. Traffic is up at the Coon Rapids Recycling Center, and now they want all those extra visitors to try something new. CTN's Jennifer Anderson has more on a trial program underway at the Recycling Center to collect a new type of styrofoam.
Since COVID, we've seen an increase in everything.
When this pallet is full, it will amount to about 800 pounds of processed styrofoam. The Coon Rapids Recycling Center normally turns out 1 to 2 pallets like this each week. Since COVID hit, they are up to 4 to 5 pallets a week.
Styrofoam is super popular, and it's one of those things that, you know, with COVID again, we've seen a huge shift in people's behaviors, and so we see so many new users here to the site, so many more phone calls. I mean, we just can't keep up.
Recycling coordinator Colleen Sinclair thinks it could be a good time to try something new.
You can see how they're nice and cleaned, and there's no grease or food residue in here.
On a trial basis, the recycling center will accept food-grade styrofoam, things like takeout containers, cups, and meat trays. It is a new addition to the typical rigid styrofoam the center already accepts.
So you'll have like material like this. This is really hard and dense material.
The food-grade styrofoam must be grease and residue-free and plain white, which means no colored logos or print of any kind.
There's so many businesses and so many residents that just don't feel good about putting it in the trash. And so this is a really great step forward, a small one, but it's something that we can do that makes us all feel a little bit better.
People are encouraged to bring in clean styrofoam containers throughout October, and maybe longer, if the program goes well.
So kind of dependent on how much material comes in, if the residents who use our site are committed to the cleanliness that we need from it. You know, I'm hoping that we can continue it indefinitely, but it's one of those things time's going to tell.
If the Styrofoam Trial proves successful, the recycling center can access grant money to cover the cost of processing the extra materials moving forward. For Community Update, I'm Jennifer Anderson.
The Recycling Center asks that you bag your clean, white, food-grade styrofoam trays, cups, and containers separately when you drop them off. You can bring in these items through the end of October. If the program continues, information will be posted on the city's website and recycling page. Due to the pandemic, the Coon Rapids Police and Fire Departments took their messaging online for this year's Night to Unite.
So in the back seat, we do have a cage in it, obviously, that divides the front from the back so criminals can't get up to the front.
The virtual Night to Unite event took place on Facebook on Tuesday night. Representatives from the police and fire department stood in front of City Hall for the live broadcast, which went on for a little over an hour. They toured a squad car and fire truck, did a canine demonstration, and asked trivia questions. The trivia question winners received a prize pack. Well, it is Fire Prevention Week, a time for all of us to think about fire safety. COVID canceled in-person events this year, but the Coon Rapids Fire Department still has some important information to pass along. CTN's Steve Antis reports.
We have a stovetop fire.
When it comes to teaching a lesson about how dangerous fires can be, firefighters have it down to a science.
It's Fire Prevention Week, and this year's theme is Serve Up Fire Safety in the Kitchen.
Fire Marshal Todd Williams says the goal of Fire Prevention Week is meant to help reduce fire danger in the home, especially in the kitchen where cooking is the #1 cause of home fires.
So far in 2020, in Coon Rapids, we've had approximately 30 fires already caused by cooking, unattended cooking.
If you have to leave the room while you're cooking, what should you do?
Firefighters usually spend the week visiting each elementary school in the city and sharing their fire safety message in unique and creative ways. But this year, the pandemic stopped the show.
The safety message is going to be missed, and the kids are going to miss our dancing.
Oh, you're a fire girl, aren't you?
Gone too are the Saturday open house events at each fire station.
Here we go.
The kids like that, plus they get a plastic fire helmet and a sticker.
This field in front of Fire Station number 3 is where Allina Health would normally land their emergency medical helicopter for people to get an up-close look during the fire station open house. It's one highlight of so many that will be missed out on this year.
It's going to be missed by the firefighters a lot, just not have that connection. Hopefully next year we can get everything back to normal.
I'm Steve Antis reporting for Community Update.
The Coon Rapids Fire Department is working on an educational fire safety video series with neighboring departments that will be shown to students sometime next year. After a successful inaugural year, the Coon Rapids Community Strength Foundation is bringing back a pumpkin patch to Sand Creek Park. This year's event will take place Saturday, October 17th from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. There will be some changes due to COVID, but all children 12 and under will receive a free pumpkin. Organizations that serve youth in the community will also share information about their programs. Are you ready for some football? Friday Night Lights are back at high schools across the state this week. Tonight, the Cardinals kick off their season at home against St. Thomas Academy. Due to COVID restrictions, tickets are not available to the public, but you can watch all 6 regular season games live right here on CTN and on our social media channels. There will be a shortened playoff season following, but just section championships. There will be no state playoffs this year. Still, I know a lot of high school kids excited for the team to get back out there. That is going to do it for us today. Thanks for watching. We'll see you back here again next week.